Would you be happy living in Belize? We're going to try to help you find an answer to that question. Hello, I'm Kathleen Petticord.
I'm Leif Simon.
Welcome to a new edition of our Live and Invest Overseas podcast. Belize is one of the best options for living or retiring overseas. It has come in among the winning countries near the top of our annual Retire Overseas Index every one of the 12 years we've published that index. Belize has a great deal to offer, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily the best or the right place for you to go overseas. In fact, though, Belize is a great choice for two very different kinds of people.
Right. Well, the first big plus of Belize is it speaks English. So if it's a country, if you want to go to a country where you don't have to learn another language, Belize fits that.
Right.
But then does the rest of Belize suit you? And really, there's two main options. There's ocean and mountains. So Ambergris Caye is one of the big destinations for people going to Belize, and it's an island. And if you're like me and don't like being bound by an island, then it might not suit you. I can do about a week to 2 weeks on Ambergris before going stir crazy.
We're not necessarily beach people.
Right.
So for us, in fact, for me, while Ambergris Caye, as Leif is saying, is maybe the best known face of Belize, it's not the part of Belize that has attracted me since my first visit 35 years ago or something. I fell in love with Cayo.
Right, and that's the mountainside. So Cayo is in the mountains. It's a little bit higher than sea level, not much, so you get a little bit cooler weather most of the year. But it's also, all of Belize is rural, but Cayo is where you go to be in the countryside and to be self-sufficient. So if you're going to go to Cayo, that's a great place to start your own farm, have a little piece of property to grow your own food. There's one development that we work with that is completely off-grid, self-sufficient. Lifestyle is their target for the community, but you're not really in the middle of nowhere. There's San Ignacio, the main town, that has supplies and stores and restaurants
and community. There is an expat community. In fact, Belize is home to two, as we're describing, two very different expat communities, each attracted to its two very different faces. Out on Ambergris Caye is one of the most established expat communities anywhere in the world, I think, at this point. In Little San Pedro,
right,
there are hundreds of expats who are living the Caribbean life, walking around barefoot on sandy paths all day long. The best way to get around is on foot or golf cart.
Well, golf cart is the only way to get around if you want to go in a vehicle. There are no cars allowed except for a few taxis and some work trucks.
Right.
But otherwise, the residents and the tourists all get around by golf cart. And Ambergris is known for diving and snorkeling. So
right,
if you'd like to be in the water or on the water, Ambergris is the place to be in Belize.
And it has a lot of amenities. Kind of infrastructure has developed over the past couple of decades for the expats who are migrating and settling there. So, wine shops and sandwich shops and little cafes and
right,
art galleries. And so there is definitely a community to connect with, to tap into. So lots of support. And again, everyone speaks English, not just the expats, but all the locals as well. So it's easy to connect with the local community too and really become a part of the local community. The same is increasingly true out in Cayo. So when I first was in Cayo more than 30 years ago, and for a long time, Cayo was very remote and undeveloped. It's still underdeveloped, but it's in fact the fastest growing part of the country.
Right, and they've redone the town square. There's new shops that have opened up, and so it is attracting more people, more full-time people. Belize historically has been had more tourists than expats, and still does, but also a lot of snowbirds come down to either Ambergris or Cayo or elsewhere in Belize during the winter months, which is the best time of year to be down there because that's the dry season anyway. But Cayo and Ambergris aren't the only two places, but they're the main two. They're the main two places. There's Placencia and there's northern Belize, Corozal area, and those areas are growing as well. They just have less there, and so fewer expats are moving there full time simply because the day-to-day lifestyle infrastructure isn't as good as it is in San Ignacio or on San Pedro.
Right, so Corozal would probably be the least developed part of the country, other than way down south in Dangriga, for example, where
Right.
no one's settling there yet, maybe eventually, because we have watched over these decades, the communities, the expat communities expand through the country and discover more of what Belize has to offer. So as you're saying, Placencia is definitely more developed in the past 10 years than it was. Corozal is beginning to develop. One big plus for Corozal is that it's so close to Mexico.
Right.
So one of the
A lot of people
downsides,
can go shopping to
Yeah.
Chetumal because you're much closer to Chetumal for medical care,
Exactly.
which is one reason a lot of expats move there, and it can be fine for you. As Kathy started this session, you have to find the right place that makes sense for you. Belize is a small country, but it does have different options for you. Again, the main ones are being either on the beach or in the mountains to take a look at, or split your time. In fact, for us, if we were going to
Exactly.
be in Belize, would be to have a place in Cayo and a place on Ambergris and go back and forth.
I think that would be ideal, and it's so easy to do that. While the infrastructure, we could just quickly name the downsides to Belize, the challenges. The infrastructure remains underdeveloped, though way improved even in the past 5 years, say. And the medical care would be a challenge, as we pointed out. If the way to address that really would be to settle in the northern part around Corozal, where
Right.
you could easily go to Mexico for very good medical care. But but the one thing in terms of infrastructure that Belize does have is this very developed and reliable internal network of flights. These little
Because the roads traditionally haven't been great. But Belize developed in-country small aircraft flight routes,
Yeah.
and so Cayo is now connected to that route, so you can fly from Cayo to Ambergris, sometimes stopping over in Belize City for long enough to unload cargo or pick up a passenger, and get back and forth
Right.
very, very quickly that way. So you could have breakfast in the Cayo and dinner in Ambergris
Exactly.
and be back in Cayo the next morning.
It's very easy. It's reliable. Again, it's affordable, and it makes it very possible to embrace all the faces of Belize as a package. Kind of
Right.
base yourself wherever you find yourself happiest, whatever matches your idea of what you want your lifestyle to look like best. But then be able to hop around and enjoy everything that Belize has to offer. We hope we've given you a good initial impression of the different faces of Belize to begin thinking through if it might be a place where you would be happy living or retiring overseas. Thank you for listening. We'll be in touch again soon. Remember, you can find us always at liveandinvestoverseas.com. Take care.
Bye, everyone.